Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And if you've been a fan here of the Flex Zone, part of the Flex Zone family, yours truly, God's favorite host, back again as we wrap up and conclude our 2025 schedule, win loss predictions, 2025 forecast, and outlook for each NFL franchise. 1 through 32, all divisions have been covered. And last but certainly not least, we're going to H Town with the rodeo, baby. Let's have a little fun here on the Flex Zone podcast and have a little rodeo as we talk Texans football and what is their 2025 season outlook looking like. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and make sure you comment. Let me know your thoughts. I promise your team, if we haven't covered them yet, they're getting covered today because the Texans are the last team. And I promise, if you're a fan of anything NFL, I know you got a favorite team. Check out your team's video. Check out all the videos. Comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let's have a little fun discussion. And like we said, let's have a little rodeo here on the Flex Zone. The Texans, reigning defending AFC South champions, the weakest division in football, the gap between the Texans and the second or third best team, whoever you want to throw in there, it's a gap, it's a margin. And head coach D'Amico Ryans going into year three has been fantastic. The team is really embodied and really just, in my opinion, just transformed into a developing rising power in the AFC. I know a lot of the pundits, analysts had them last year making maybe even Super Bowl runs. CJ Stroud is a man. He's a straw that stirs the drink. He came into year one, set the world on fire, and he had a little bit of a slump, a little bit of a regression, threw for less yards, less touchdowns, more interceptions, which is not a good progression or increase you want to have, if anything, in the football category stat wise. And that's the question about Jaden Daniels. Will it be a CJ Stroud year two, or will he continue to ascend? I think CJ Stroud has shown he is the guy. My critique with CJ Stroud is we know the offensive line, which I'll talk about, is not the best, and the weapons were banged up. When he uses his legs, when he uses his God given athletic ability, which he isn't Lamar, he isn't Josh Allen, he isn't Kyler Murray, he isn't Justin Fields, but when he wants to take off and run because teams aren't preparing for that because he's a pocket passer, he can do that. And sometimes that's all he needs to do in these games. Get one, get two first downs with your legs that can help this team extend drives. Because we know you can if you get time, any type of time in the pocket, you can shred them. You can shred any defense with your pure pocket passing ability. CJ Stroud, like I said, I think we'll see more of year one CJ Stroud. He'll be right around 4,000 yards, I think. I think he'll throw 25 to 30 touchdowns. I think he will throw about 10 to 15 picks, but I think he will be more of year one CJ Stroud. And like I said, if he uses his legs a little bit more, and I think they incorporated that into the offense. I know Bobby Slowick was fired. That is going to be key, especially with the lackluster offensive line. I love that they run the football. Joe Mixon's one of the best running backs in football. Damian Pierce is good. They gave Woody Marks this year in the draft out of USC, a very good underrated back who could be a good piece for them rotationally, especially if an injury happens. Nico Collins, good to see him healthy. You bring in Christian Kirk. I love that. Tank Dell, the unfortunate injury we saw in that playoff game last year. I don't know when we'll see this brother. Will we see him maybe midway through the season? Will he miss this whole season? I don't know. He had every CL that you could have injured, unfortunately. But you draft Jaden Higgins. I like the potential there. Another big body receiver. Nico Collins is 6'4". Higgins is 6'4", maybe has a little more speed, big playability, is a touchdown maker, needs to develop his route running capabilities and his ability to just catch the football consistently in one-on-one press coverage. So he could be a piece for CJ Stroud. We know how CJ Stroud likes to have those big body receivers because when you don't have a great offensive line, you don't have a lot of time, you can't always throw the ball accurately. So you're throwing the ball in distress. You got to have a guy that can go up and get it, big catch radius. So I like what they did there. Dalton Schultz is still there. Like I said, they lose Laramie Tunsil, trading him to Washington, get a lot of draft picks, a lot of draft capital. Cam Robinson, can he play 17 games? Or is he going to miss 5 or 6 games and leave the offensive line in shambles even more? He's a solid player. He's not a great player, but he's a solid left tackle when he plays. Played with the Jaguars for all those years, but injuries are his biggest thing. Availability is the best ability. Tyus Howard, Jared Patterson, Drew Scruggs, Blake Fisher. The O-line is not really good. That is really the biggest weakness of this team. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. It's really O-line. And I think that's what did them in. They could have beat the Chiefs last year. They probably should be a little bit better when it comes to wins because as a team last year, they didn't win as many games as we thought. But the defense, Anderson Jr., getting him and CJ Stroud in the first draft with D'Amico Ryans was a home run. They swung for the fences and they hit a grand slam. One of the best young pass rushers in the league. Uh, Daniil Hunter on the other side, helping him out. This 4-3. Henry Toto, uh, Tutu. Aziz Al-Shire, he may be a dirty player, but he tackles and hits hard. You need a guy like that. Christian Harris, Derek Stingley Jr., one of the best corners in the league. Got paid this offseason, well deserved. CJ Garner Johnson, bringing him in from the Eagles. Kamari Lassiter, and Jalen Petrie, one of the best nickels in the league as well. Let's get into the schedule and break it down. We're getting to the last schedule breakdown of 2025. They start in LA. That is a 425 CBS game. I think they lose that. But then they return home on Monday night against Tampa. I think they win that, get to 1-1. They go to Jacksonville. I think they win that 2-1. Then they play Tennessee 3-1. They struggle all the time against Baltimore and they get blown out handily. 3-2 before a early week 6 bye. Then they go to Seattle. They could lose that. I'm gonna say 3-3. That's on ESPN Plus. That's a 10 p.m. game exclusively. So 3-3. Then I have them versus San Francisco and Denver and Jacksonville. Do they win 2 out of those 3 to get to 5-4? I think so. Then they go to Tennessee. They could lose that. I'll say 5-5. Thursday, November 20th. That is a Prime Video game. That is a, I don't know. That is not Thanksgiving. No, it's not. That's going to be interesting. Do they beat Buffalo at home? I think they can beat Buffalo at home. I do think they can beat Buffalo. Like I said, I think the Texans, Titans, and Colts all have top 15 defense potential. That could be 3 out of the top 15 defenses in the NFL. So I'm going to say they lose to the Rams, beat the Bucks, beat the Jags, beat the Titans, lose to Baltimore 3-2. At Seattle 3-3. Then you get to 5-4. So 5-4 after 9 games. Then I got them at Tennessee. Could they lose that? Yes. I'm gonna say 5-5, but then they beat Buffalo 6-5, at Indy 7-5, at Kansas City. That's a Sunday night game, 7-6. Arizona and Las Vegas 9-6, at LA 9-7, and at Indy, or they host Indy Week 18 flex game. I think they win at 10-7. So I think 10-7 is fair. It's not really nothing that's going to set the world on fire. It's not going to knock anybody's socks off. It's going to have them right there at the 4 seed playing on that wild card Saturday to kick off wild card weekend. But I think they are equipped as much as any year. The first year of CJ Stroud, last year, and I think this year because it's not as much high expectations. They bring back pretty much the whole team. The only player they're really missing is Tank Dell. Now, could Tank Dell, like I said, I think he got hurt in what, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Could he be back maybe by December? Is that too much to ask? Because I want to know as I look it up. Let me see his injury. According to, yeah, he suffered a severe knee injury December 2024. Okay, that wasn't even the playoff game. That was the end of the season. That's right. Dislocated knee, torn ACL, MCL, and LCL, as well as meniscus damage. He has undergone 2 surgeries to repair the damage. He's expected to miss the entire 2025 season. So he's not going to be back this year. Okay, that's fair. We can probably see him maybe returning to full health in 2026. So I think Nico Collins, having Dalton Schultz, running the ball with Joe Mixon, I think that is going to be paramount for this team, as well as using this defense. This defense is going to be really, really good. They can get pressure on the quarterback. They're really good, I think, in the back end. So they have a lot of speed as well, like D'Amico Ryans played with. Good. I think the biggest weakness for them defensively is linebacker because Aziz Al-Shire, who's more of a safety, Christian Harris, and Henry Totutu. Um, yeah, like I said, but Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, they up front are going to do the damn thing, and I think the offensive line is going to be the downfall if anything. But if they could have had Tank Dell with Jaden Higgins, Nico Collins, I think Christian Kirk, they added him. He had a real down year last year, injuries, inconsistency. I think going to a divisional foe, playing your team twice, I think that will really, really help this team and really, really show a lot of potential because I really think that the Houston Texans have a lot of opportunity to win potentially double-digit games. But I think, like I said, I'm gonna say they get 10 wins. I think 10 wins is fair. I think 10 wins is valid. But let me know, sound off. What do you guys think about this series? And all 32 teams, broken down the wins and losses. I think the Texans will get to 10-7. Like I said, they got some interesting games. They play Buffalo. They play the Chargers again. Of course, the division foes go to Kansas City as always. Play Denver, San Fran, Baltimore. Like I said, they're kind of like that next crop. You think about Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. Those are the three teams in the AFC North. Then you got maybe your Texans, your Bengals, your Chargers, your Broncos, kind of in that next tier group. Texans are kind of right at the forefront of that team that's looking to join the club. Can they do it? They got the quarterback and defense and the head coach. They just got to consistently protect their quarterback, protect their investment, which I think maybe getting Tank Dell back next year and really building that O-line the way it needs to and make sure the defense is taken care of like they did with Derek Henry will be very, very important. We know Will Anderson, CJ Stroud are going to get paid, so it doesn't get cheaper. So the window is still open. This is year 3, so they probably still got at least this year and maybe at least another year or two to really get the job done while they're young, cheap, and affordable. But let me know your thoughts on this series. Leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the bell, subscribe down below. Let me know your thoughts on any team I covered. If you agree, don't agree, comment. Let me know. We'll talk about it. God's favorite host. Check out all our content. The NFL, MLB, NBA, all sports, professional wrestling, live here on the Flex On Podcast. So hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, hit that bell. Let me know what you think about the series, breaking down all 32 teams, and what do you think about what you want to see next on the channel. We want to hear from you. Hit the bell, and just hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you, everybody who's watched. Even if you just watched for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, minutes, everybody who's watched every video, we appreciate you. Glad I was able to do this. Love the response. We'll have more series like this in the future. We're less than 4 months away from the beginning of the NFL regular season. God's favorite host, yours truly, right here on the Flex On Podcast, giving you sports how you want it when you need it. I got the Houston Texans at 10-7, but they could be a team you don't want to see in that divisional round that can maybe make a run to a conference. Anything could happen. It's one game in the playoffs. They've been in each playoff game that they've come up short in. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how they prove themselves, and we'll see if they can continue to separate themselves from the AFC stuff. Thank you for watching right here on the